Good evening. And welcome to episode 30 of Addicted to Film. Foster in the back will come out and give us the correct number on what show this is.
I think we're at 33.
This, people, is Travis Hopson. He is a rock star. Just had a Q&A, was hanging out with Kumar earlier today.
I was hanging out with Cal Penn.
He's special.
Cal Penn, and there was not a single ounce of weed involved the entire time, which I guess is a little disappointing, but that's okay. We were talking about his new movie, which is kind of an old movie actually, called Bhopal,
right?
A Prayer for Rain, which nobody's heard of. That's because the movie was made 5 years ago,
right?
And it just came out now.
Yeah, that's usually never a good sign. And by the way, I'm Tim Gordon.
That's Tim
Welcome
Gordon,
to the latest edition of Addicted to Film. This week we are going to do something really, really special. Today is
We're
November.
not talking about anything.
Right. Today is November the 30th. Am I correct? We are November the 30th, right? So tomorrow's
Like
December the 1st?
Yeah.
So 1 week from tonight, we will be in our official capacity as film critics. The Washington, D.C. Area Film Critics Association Awards will have been voted on by then. This Friday is the end of our film year.
Yep.
And then we also, did you get the information on when the Broadcast Film Critic Association nominations need to be voted on? Because that's going to be soon as well.
I didn't get that information. Did they send it?
I mean, but I'm under the impression that it's going to be around the same time. So we are in heavy film watching mode.
Their awards are a little bit later than ours, so we might still be a week or two away, a couple weeks.
Well, but we've got to know. But their nominations have got to go in because the show is going to be January the 15th. So
right.
I know the nominations are going to be coming up pretty soon.
Right.
So today, Travis, instead of us doing our traditional show where we review different movies and have conversations about movies, we're going to preview some of the 250 plus movies that both you and I have seen that have the best shot of getting award recognition next week and throughout the award season.
Basically, we're just going to talk for the next hour because you didn't see any movies this week.
The only movie that came out this week was a movie. You didn't see Horrible Bosses 2. No, but let's be really honest about this.
Yeah.
We're at a point right now where we are watching lots of Academy screeners. And we're trying to catch up on movies and prepare for voting. So you honestly thought that it would be a chance that I would drop, say, one of these movies that I'm looking at in my hand to go see Horrible Bosses 2?
Yes, because you're still, your job is still to be a film critic, and that means to review the current movies, not just the movies that came out, last few months or the ones that are going to come out in a few weeks. You could have taken 2 hours out of your day to see a current movie. You took 2 hours out of your day to see Penguins of Madagascar.
I did.
So you got no excuse.
We talking about that today?
No, because I didn't see it.
Well, why did you see it?
Because I've never seen a Madagascar movie.
I didn't see the first Horrible Bosses.
You did too.
I did. I just thought I'd pull a lie on you.
I know you're a liar because I was there, so I know you saw it.
Hey man, I had no interest in seeing this one.
So you have to tell me why. Okay, so you
I had no interest, man.
But you had interest in Penguins of Madagascar.
I did. I needed something light. I mean, let's be real, man.
Okay. That's
you watching movies about dementia. You watching movies. I mean, some of these films that we're gonna go. And I think you need to do the same thing I'm doing is pull up your Pinterest page, man, because we need to go through some of these movies, man.
I remember every single movie I saw when I saw it.
Well, I'm glad you do.
I don't need to do that. Nah.
Okay, I'm glad you do, man.
But
yeah, so that's what's going on, man.
No,
so
yeah,
I did
right.
not. But you're right. I did not invest the time, and I definitely didn't want to go to a screening of Horrible Bosses 2 because we're watching so many movies, man. But basically, did you like the movie? What did you think?
Of what, Horrible Bosses 2?
Yeah, Horrible Bosses 2. Talk a little bit about it, man.
Well,
did you bring a clip of it?
I did bring a clip of it because
go ahead and play
because
it, man.
I had to leave so early this morning that everything that we were going to do for today's show, I just had to kind of wing it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just put a clip on here and a couple of other things, and I got no actual video of the movies we're going to be talking about later.
Oh, you don't have any video of
except for one particularly amazing film that we're going to talk about later on. I did bring some footage of.
Well, but I'm saying you got Horrible Bosses.
I do have a clip from Horrible Bosses 2, so let's go ahead and run that. Mike Phillips.
All right.
Good luck out there, boys. What's that laugh about?
I just said good luck.
You don't think
No,
we're
but you
going
said
down?
it. You said it with
I'm
giggles.
not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe you guys might want a little advice.
You got one on the hook. Give it to him.
It's gonna cost you 51% share of your company.
You're
It's
out.
gonna cost you 2% share of your company.
It's so weird how
Company
you
won't be in
negotiate.
existence
It's
tomorrow,
just
probably. You can have that.
there's
I'd
a
like my
middle
watch back,
ground.
though.
Here's the advice, young man. Y'all criminals. See, you can't have this both ways. Every time you guys come in here, you're like, oh, we're just a bunch of happy-go-lucky guys. You know, once again, through no fault of our own, we found ourselves in another pickle. You tried to kill your bosses. One of them ended up dead. Now you want to perpetrate a kidnapping? You three are the craziest criminals I've ever seen in my life. You want to pull it off? You gotta act like it.
Word.
Motherfucker Jones. Come on, man. You ain't find him the least bit funny. Not at all.
I'm offended that they would call that. I mean, let's be real. Mike Phillips, aren't you a little offended that like the black guy in the movie is got to be called, excuse my language, motherfucker Jones? Really? I mean, even Samuel L. Jackson, who I think if anybody should call somebody motherfucker Jones, it seems to me like it would be Samuel L. Jackson, not Jamie Foxx. Not Ray. Not Ray. I mean, come on, man. What was that? What was that movie that Jamie Foxx played like the homeless dude Solo? What was that? What was the movie?
No. Jamie Foxx.
Where he was like homeless with a
The Soloist.
Yeah. I mean, come on, the Soloist.
It's a bad movie, by the way.
Right. But I mean, he looked like motherfucker Jones in that movie.
I got the Soloist
and we
mixed
didn't
up
call
with,
him that.
I got the Soloist mixed up with the Caveman's Valentine, which had Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Right.
Both
I'm saying
both
is-
awful movies about
Watch this.
homeless people.
All I'm saying is that if there needs to be a character named motherfucker Jones in a movie, it should be Samuel L. Jackson.
I actually think Jamie Foxx is perfectly fine as motherfucker Jones. If there's such a thing as being perfectly fine as motherfucker Jones, he's it. Look, I wasn't a huge fan of Horrible Bosses. I thought it was funny, but I told you before I watched it like 2 or 3 times since then, and it's gotten progressively less funny.
Right.
Like I at certain points I was like, what did I used to laugh at in this movie? Like I used to wonder. And it's the supporting cast: Jennifer Aniston, Kevin Spacey, Colin Farrell. They were the best parts. Jamie Foxx. They were the best parts of the first movie for me. So the same thing is the case in this one, where the supporting cast is better than the main trio. Like Jennifer Aniston is back; she's raunchier than ever.
Right.
This one, so she's great. Kevin Spacey, you only get him for a minute. Christoph Waltz is in this movie. You don't hardly see him; he doesn't do anything. Chris Pine is great though. Chris Pine, who I generally think is one of the most boring actors in Hollywood. I think he's actually kind of good here. I think he's fine as long as now that we've seen him in a movie like this where he gets to play kind of unhinged.
Right.
I think he's good at that. But Hollywood seems to be content to put him in these really bland vanilla roles.
Right.
Because he looks kind of bland vanilla. He looks like prototype Hollywood A-lister guy. Like that's what he looks like.
Right.
As they put him in that role all the time. I think he's better suited for something like this. So he's good. I just did not laugh very much at this movie. I didn't think the first one demanded a sequel anyway. It just didn't seem. It seemed like that story was done, and that should have been the end of it.
Right.
So this one didn't convince me that it needed to exist. So they go from murder to kidnapping this time. Now they're the bosses rather than the guys being bossed. And they turn out to be incompetent bosses because they lose their entire business to Christoph Waltz's guy. So they kidnap his son, played by Pine, to get ransom money. And of course, it goes fucking sideways the way these things always do for them. And if you found the first one funny, if you found the interactions between the main trio, Bateman, Charlie Day, and Jason Sudeikis, if you found those interactions funny, you'll probably find some of this one funny. But for me, I was just kind of like, all right, I saw that movie. It's done now.
Which explains at the top why you asked me why I didn't go see this movie, man. I didn't know any of that, but I suspected as much.
But you certainly couldn't have had high expectations for Penguins of Madagascar.
Hey, man, I just needed to laugh. I needed something simple.
We're talking about a comedy.
You and I have worked together for a long period of time. You've heard me say that humor is subjective. I just know that the blended, horrible bosses, neighbors.
Did you not like the first one at all?
Which one?
Horrible Bosses. You
I
don't-
thought it was okay. I didn't.
Okay.
I was offended that he was called Motherfucker Jones in the first one, and I was offended that he would come back in this one.
You're offended that he returned.
Yeah,
That
I'm offended.
We had to bring Motherfucker Jones back.
I'm offended that Jamie Foxx felt that he needed a check bad enough that he would be.
Tim Gordon's delicate sensibilities.
man. I mean,
delicate sensibilities.
My
He's like,
sensibilities aren't delicate. They're just. I'm kind of persnickety as
I
a
know,
film
man.
critic,
I
man.
know, I know.
So Travis, what I pulled up right here is, and you can look at it, is that I pulled up the categories for the Washington D.C. Area Film Critics Association Awards.
Now,
Which
you've neglected to tell people that you are the president of the Washington D.C.
I neglect to tell people that on purpose because I think it sounds very self-serving. By virtue that I am the president, I'm the president. But it's not something to just run around and go, I'm the president. So I don't do that.
No, you. Well, okay. Well, sometimes you do, but more often than
I don't
not,
do it on this show.
You don't. But this was an instance where you should have. I mean, you should say, "I'm the president of Washington."
I am the sitting and founding president of the Washington D.C. Area
There you
Film
go.
Critics Association.
There you go.
Which is a
big
started
deal, my
serving
friend.
in 2002, and this will be the 13th year. I always get these years confused, but we've been doing this since 2002. And a little background, and I know you've heard the story, is the first year we did this was a mess. I mean, there's another word I want to use, but it was a mess.
You've already said "motherfuckers" like 5 times. You can say whatever you want.
It was a cluster F the first year. But it was by virtue that we started in October, and we had like all of these great film critics, and we really didn't have rules. We just knew we wanted to represent this region and represent the best films, and we really didn't have a structure or criteria. So we had like several 3-way ties. It was, oh man, it was not good at all. But needless to say, we haven't had any problems since 2002.
That's good to know.
And I'm very excited about what's going on. And by that, I wanted to go through some of these categories, and I think we need to spotlight not all of them,
Thank
but I
God.
just wanted to get your opinion on some of the movies. So let's have a conversation over the course of the next hour over some of these movies, and we're good. So,
But don't ask me about like best sound editing or best.
well, no, we're
best
not going to
sound.
do
Don't
that,
even ask me
man.
about best score because I don't even want to know.
No, we're not going to do that. What I do want to start with, though, well, actually, I can't start there because we haven't seen enough of them, which would be foreign language. But let's talk documentary to start with. I mean, we're going to build up to some stuff along the hour.
You're gonna be doing the heavy lifting on that one, my friend. But go ahead.
So if you're not ready for documentary, I can wait.
I'm really not ready for
All right,
documentary.
well, cool.
I haven't. I was trying to think the other day of how many documentaries I've seen this year. I could probably name them on like one hand. Like I had not seen very many. Like and
Oh, I see what you're saying.
and for the most part, I kind of stopped being a big fan of documentaries. For a while because I told you about that one year I did the AFI docs.
Right. You had to watch a bunch of them.
And I was one of the guys.
Now look how cool that is right there. Thank you. Mike Phillips is the man.
Mike Phillips, look at that.
Wow. Okay,
You're
there's a
on the-
logo for WAFCA, the Washington, D.C. Area Film Critics
Right.
Association.
And if you want to look up, go to the website, it's just dcfilmcritics.com. So it's pretty
or it's
simple.
WAFCA.com as well.
Or it's WAFCA.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see,
All
look
right.
at that. Look at that. See? So Mike Phillips is on the ball as always. Thank you, Mike.
Mike, you the man.
So yeah, ever since that one year where I was one of those guys who I was a screener, I was the one who judged which films actually got into the festival.
Right.
And I watched like 100 docs in like 2 weeks, and I was like, I never want to watch another doc again. So I've watched like a handful a year for the most part. I'll watch just enough. And this year I've been slacking. If I go through this thing, I'll probably find a handful that I watch, but not very many.
Well, I want to talk
So-
about several really quickly, and we're going to move on. But
Please
so
do.
far,
Please do.
The 3 that really stand out, I saw a bunch of really good docs. Stuff like Time Is Illmatic, the Nas documentary.
That was one I saw that I liked.
I Am Ali, which I liked a lot as well. Take Me to the River, which was a story of the whole Memphis sound. Stax Records. That was pretty good.
I saw Get On Up. That was a great documentary about James Brown.
Now, by virtue that we're really trying to give the people a real preview, that's not funny because they may think that Get On Up really is. There is a documentary though around James Brown called Mr. Dynamite, the Rise of James Brown. That's on HBO, which is not eligible.
There's one I saw that I liked, Dinosaur 13. I like that one.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I mean, is that good? Is that worth it?
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to spotlight the 3 that I knew that I thought were really good.
Red Army.
Actually, Red Army
Were
is
you not gonna mention
fantastic.
that? Were you not going to mention
that was one of the three. So Red
Okay.
Army is one. I saw Citizen 4 yesterday.
I need to watch it.
Citizen 4. I mean, Red Army is outstanding.
Right.
Citizen 4. Oh, excuse me. Before I get off Red Army is the story of the rise of the Soviet hockey program linked along with communism in their country and how they use the hockey program to further the propaganda. But it also talks about the history of how they lost to the United States in 1980
Yeah.
and Lake
And it
Placid.
sounds amazing. I'm glad we got that
It's
screening.
a
so I want to watch it.
great documentary.
I might just make, because unfortunately we have but we have to shoot around town tomorrow, so it'll break my day in half. But I might just spend a lot of tomorrow watching documentaries. Maybe I'll make tomorrow a documentary day.
All right.
And I'll just watch a bunch of documentaries. You know what's amazing that I think is the most fun about this Pinterest thing that we do with our movies, where for those who don't know, maybe you're watching the show for the first time. Tim and I, we keep track of all of our movies via our Pinterest pages. So if you look up Travis Hopson on Pinterest, you'll be able to find my board. You can see every single movie that I watch over the course of the year as I watch them. I always put them in as soon as I watch them. So at this point, I'm at 258 movies, right?
Right.
It's always fun to go back and look at what was the very first movies you watched at the beginning of the year.
What was the very first movie you watched this
The
year?
very first movie I watched this year was Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones.
Wow, man!
I totally
You see
forgot.
me? I'm going back through mine.
I totally forgot that I even saw that movie this year.
You know what the first movie I have in here?
Is it?
And no. I saw it October of last year, but I knew it would be released this year, so I put it on, created a page. Believe it or not, it was Frankie and Alice, Halle Berry. But let me read through the month of January some of these wonderful gems that will probably end up on the worst movies of 2014. Remember The Legend of Hercules?
Oh, it's right there. It's my third movie. It's the third movie I saw in 2014.
Did you see The Nut Job?
Nope. You keep mentioning that one. I did not see that
Holy monkey, that movie's bad. And literally I'm sorry. And after you get through all of the Sundance stuff.
Oh, the Sundance crap, yeah.
After that, then we come back and there is Labor Day.
It's a piece of shit.
Really bad movie. I, Frankenstein.
You know what? When you think about that, this is a really bad year for Jason Reitman. Labor Day, Men, Women, and Children. Those are his two movies that came out in 2014.
Yeah, you 0 for 2 this year,
It was
bro.
a bad year for him. Really
Let me
year.
see. And who can forget that classic, The Monuments Men?
That was this year?
That was this year.
What?
Oh, and then
Holy shit, you're right.
watch this, Travis. And then the snickering that went on with Winter's Tale.
Oh, yeah, Winter's Tale is
With Will Smith as the devil.
And not just Will Smith as the devil.
Will Smith as the devil.
Will Smith as a sewer-dwelling devil, by the way. By the way, it's absolutely absurd. But
Now,
no,
go ahead.
this is funny, though.
Let's go through some of
this
yours.
This is funny, okay, because this is actually really fun to go back and look at the early crap movies that came out that we
man.
watched. Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones. What a way to kick off the year. It's actually not that bad of a movie in relation to the franchise. It's not that
You have
bad.
that stanky Jamesy boy. there
Jamesy
as well.
Boy, which is bad, and I had to interview the director like right after I watched it too. And I was like, damn, I don't know what to say to this guy. So that one, Legend of Hercules, which is so bad. I put in the co-star of the movie.
As opposed
I put in a picture. I put in a picture of the co-star of the movie.
Oh, man.
Because he was awesome. The movie's shit. Ride Along, which I thought was below average for even a Kevin Hart Ice Cube movie. The Lunchbox, which is great.
Lunchbox is really
If you've
good.
never seen The Lunchbox, it stars Irfan Khan. If you don't know who Irfan Khan is, then you
Life
can
of
go look
Pi.
him up. Life of Pi. Yep,
The
amazing. actor.
Namesake.
The Namesake. That's a fantastic movie. Go check that out. Summer in February, which is horrible. Raise, which is actually really good.
I didn't
if you
see
want,
Raise.
If you want to watch a lot of women just beat each other up for 90 minutes,
God.
then it's amazing. And then there's that one awesome movie right there, which we won't talk about.
Oh no, see, we don't. Yeah, we're not.
We don't-
Sundance doesn't count. Sundance doesn't count in here.
We're not talking R100.
Well, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. See,
man?
Travis, I'm mad at you, man, because
Why?
you don't have some of these gems like Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
I do have that on here.
Oh
but
my
it's-
God.
But it's after.
Mike Phillips, Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
There's nothing wrong with that movie.
What do you mean there's nothing wrong with it? It and Nut Job are going to be vying for like worst animated films of 2014.
I like Mr.
Oh, Nut Job is pretty bad. Now, Travis is being nice because Travis isn't touching on stuff like Repentance.
I didn't see it.
Good man. RoboCop.
RoboCop's not that bad.
Need for Speed.
Need for Speed's pretty bad.
Who can forget Muppets Most Wanted?
I could.
Oh my God! And I'm
did.
telling you, on
The
and
only
on
thing
and
worth-
on,
The
man.
only thing worth remembering about Muppets Most Wanted is Tina Fey, and that's just because I think she's
Wait a minute. What about Liam Neeson in Nonstop?
a forgettable movie. Maladies, with James Franco, which I've been talking about all year, is
God.
guaranteed spot in my bottom 3 for the year. Like, I don't care what else comes out. Maladies is going to be in my bottom 3. It's just an atrocious movie.
I see Dark Horse over there. What's up with that?
Dark House.
Dark House.
It's a random
I
horror.
saw that.
It's a random horror.
Okay.
It's not good. Hate Ship, Love Ship.
Oh,
With Kristen
oh,
Wiig.
Hate Ship, Love Ship.
In the Blood with Gina Carano, who I love. Gina
I
Carano.
saw that as well.
She could break my arms anytime she wanted to, if she wanted to. I think she's that fine. She could come here and kick my ass right now.
All right,
But,
Travis,
that
we have
that
just gone way
that
off the
movie
rails, though.
Kicked my ass. So what? Who cares? We got an
Yeah,
hour to.
we were telling the people, man, about the documentary movies we were talking about.
You were talking documentaries. I've been trying to steer the
Go
subject
ahead and
away
steer
from
the-
documentaries as best I can.
Steer it away, man. Steer it
I
away.
don't have anything to say about documentaries this year.
All
At
right,
least not
well let's
yet,
talk.
I
Let's
don't.
talk animated films then.
Okay.
All right, animated films. We've already established that Mike Phillips and I both agree that the Nut Job is terrible. Nut Job
Mike
is
Phillips,
really.
why did you go see the Nut Job? Who dragged you to that? Okay. That's all I just need to know.
I love how it has no name, cousin.
I just need to know. I needed to know.
All right, so Nut Job is
remember
terrible.
that movie that didn't come out? Cuban Fury?
It did come. It did never came out.
No, it never came out.
Oh, we were lucky
It
enough
went
to
straight
see
to
it
DVD. It
though.
ended up going straight to DVD here.
Okay.
never came out.
Okay. So let's see. So Travis, one of the early, which I thought surprises in animated, was the Lego Movie.
Right.
Lego Movie, good. I'm
Watched it
still
again just the
saying
other
Lego
day.
Movie is top 5, man. Lego Movie, if you have to vote, because we have to vote for 5, does it get a top 5 vote?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. No, Lego Movie is a fantastic film. I just watched it again the other day, actually, and I liked it better the second time I watched it.
Will Arnett, who plays Batman, is hilarious.
He's great. My biggest gripe with the movie the first time I saw it was the final section where we get some live action stuff, and it kind of comes into reality a little bit. I had a big problem with that the first time I saw it. The second time, not so much. I was actually okay with it. It made more sense to me. So the Lego Movie is easily a top 5 animated film. But to me, this is a really strong year for animated movies.
Well, we can already get to that. So I'm looking on your site, and I'm looking at my PDA, and I've got Rio 2. What about Rio 2?
I thought you were looking at that picture of Charlotte Gainsbourg.
Not if we're talking about animated films,
in
Travis.
ecstasy.
Focus, Travis.
Orgasmic ecstasy right there.
No, we're talking Rio. So what about Rio 2, man?
Forgettable. It's not good. It's not as good as the first one. I love the first Rio. It's colorful. It's got great music. The second one does not have great music. It's still colorful.
Okay. Man, didn't see a lot of animated films on here. I'm looking through here. I guess the next one is How to Train Your Dragon 2.
How to Strain Your Dragon
How to Train
2?
Your Dragon 2.
Oh, I thought it was a new one.
What do you think?
Well, considering we talked to Dan DeBlua about that one on air.
That's actually pretty good. The blue.
I was not the biggest fan of the first film the way other people were, but I really love the second one. It's darker. It's more mature. I had a great villain, I thought. I love the second one. I think it's one of the top 3 or 4 best animated movies of the year, maybe top 3.
All right. So as I'm going through looking
What did you
for,
think of it?
I liked it a lot when I initially saw it and thought it was the top film of the year, but it is eclipsed by a couple of films that we're going to talk about,
That is
including
true.
The
That
Book
is
of
true.
Life, Travis, which I think right now is odds
my
on
number one.
probably the number 1 animated film of the year.
It's my number 1.
And no, this doesn't count. What about Big Hero 6?
Big Hero 6 is like neck and neck with The Book of Life for me as the best animated movie of the year. Look, it's a Marvel team that like nobody knew about. I remember reading the original comic back in the day, so I always had a sort of a thing for Big Hero 6. Seeing them animated, yes, they've made a lot of changes, but I think it's a movie that's a lot of fun, big adventure. It's a big superhero origin story. which are always like the best stories, the origin stories. They're the best. I think it's great. It looks It looks like unlike any other animated movie we saw this year, visually. But that's the same thing you can also say about The Book of Life, which doesn't look like any animated film I've ever seen.
Right.
With the characters made up of wooden blocks and stuff like that. It looks absolutely extraordinary. So both those movies to me are A and B. They are great.
I would agree with you. I think that, man, it's tough. I mean, but what about the studio that's sending us a bunch of stuff, man, trying to get our vote on the movie?
See.
I didn't say what studio. I just said,
Hey, The Book of Life.
what's this? So let's pose. Mike is showing
All
these
right.
films. I was gonna look into the camera and ask the public a question. So Travis,
Yes.
you represent the public. Let's say
I am Joe
two
Public,
of our
too.
movies that we've named that we both think are like 1 and 1A are really good, but like the third movie is one that they keep sending us stuff from. Try to get our vote, man. I mean, look, Travis, look at my face. Look. I mean, they sending pop action figures. They sent this. Look. They sent this backpack. Look, Travis.
Whoa, we're all close on the screen. It's weird.
Yeah, man.
But no, you're right. There is one studio that has sent us a lot of stuff, trying to secure our votes for their film. And I don't know about you, but my integrity is beyond reproach. I cannot be bought.
I can be bought. If you got anything else you want to say,
It's a secret vote. That's all I'm going to say.
It is a secret vote. It's a secret vote. That's all. All right, so we've identified the animation category. So now let's do some heavy lifting, Travis. We got a half an hour, so this is going to be good. Let's look at the supporting categories, man. Best supporting actress, man. This ought to be real easy, man. Is there
You're gonna
anybody?
have to name them because I'm going to forget them. You're going to have to name them for
There are
me.
no people that immediately jump out at you in the supporting actress race.
Well, Rosamund Pike.
She's not support.
Is she support or lead?
She's lead.
You think so?
I think so. I think the studio will see. Well, actually, they did send us a screener. That information would be on the screener. But
It would be.
I'm assuming that she's the lead because she narrates the story, correct?
Well, she narrates. Yeah, she narrates.
I'm
Fast and
assuming that Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl is a lead. So I don't think she would count.
Furious. Okay.
Trying
Jessica
to think.
Chastain for Most Violent Year.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yes.
Jessica Chastain. I had the opportunity to watch that movie again last night. She is fantastic.
I need to watch it again.
And she hasn't. She doesn't do a lot in. I mean, well, let me rephrase it. She does a lot in the movie, but she doesn't have a lot of screen time in the film. I thought she was
I'm
fantastic.
going to ask you about a couple of names here that are right here on my screen.
Oh, go ahead. And I have one more. I don't think you've watched this movie yet, so you might not have an opinion on
these
Octavia Spencer
wait
Black and White.
because these are for lead. So I'll wait. But
No. But have you watched Black or White yet?
no, I was going to watch it yesterday, but
Octavia
I figured
Spencer.
I was too depressed. I watched Ida, Cake with Jennifer Aniston, and the third one was Still Alice with Julianne Moore. So by that time, I was a hair's breadth away from just throwing myself off a cliff because I was so depressed that I figured, you know what? A movie like Black or White, I don't think I want to watch it right now.
Well, here's another choice for you right here. I don't think she's going to generate a lot of interest, but I think she was really good. Is Rosario Dawson in top 5 for support? I think she's superb in that movie.
What about Ava Green for White Bird in the Blizzard?
I don't think enough people are going to see it, man, to give it a shot.
Think
I
so?
mean, I think it's a good choice, but I don't think a lot of people are going to see it. And I think that's a killer. What about Nah, I don't think so.
What
about Chastain in Interstellar? No shot?
No, I don't. In fact, I actually noted her as one of the things I didn't like about the movie. And it's not necessarily because she's bad. It's because her character is just kind of crappy. You know, it's badly written. It's a badly written character, in my opinion. So,
What about here's a shot in the dark.
okay.
What about what is her name? Renee Russo in Nightcrawler.
You know, I love her in that movie. She's she's something else in that film. That's a good choice, actually.
I mean, I'm going through it because
Look, I look at Jake Gyllenhaal as an obvious Oscar Best Actor choice,
Right.
In my opinion, so he's there. I like her as a Best Supporting. I'm gonna have to run through my entire list at some point and knock these things down. But right now, I like her as a choice.
All right, and I got one more for you. What about Keira Knightley in The Imitation Game?
No,
No?
Nope.
Okay.
nope.
What about
That movie's all about him. It's all about Benedict Cumberbatch. I think everybody else is kind of pale.
what is this
by
woman's
comparison.
name? What is this woman's name?
Felicity
Felicity
Jones.
Jones in The Theory of Everything.
That's an interesting one because that's another case where it's so much about him, but I think the movie is really about her too, just as much. The problem with Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago when we did our review, is that I feel like I've seen her play that character every goddamn time I see her on screen. With like the one exception was when she was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was kind of random. But every other role, I feel like I've seen her play that same character. So I feel like she won't get mentioned. I think she'll like get nominated for like a Golden Globe, but not necessarily an Oscar.
All right, and final choice, man. Emma Stone
Yes.
in Birdman.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that movie. I watched Birdman a couple of nights ago.
Emma Stone is going to get
So
nominated. She will get nominated for that. She'll get nominated for that, and then she'll get a Razzie for the Woody Allen movie.
Oh, The Magic in the Moonlight.
She'll get a Razzie for that one because that movie is shit. That movie is bad. You remember that movie, right? Or did you forget it? I know you were looking through Pinterest, but I mean,
No. I remember it. I was just trying to
it's
think if
bad.
there's anybody else that I'm missing that could be in the race.
Oh, I guarantee you there is.
Yeah, they are. So you feel good about the ones I just went through?
Yeah, for the most part.
All right. So let's look at some of the supporting actors. You got anybody that jumps out in that race? I'm going to go through.
Who, Mike? Would you say Mike? There
I
you
already
go.
said Rosario Dawson, man, for top 5. She's great. Stupid.
You know what? You can just keep putting up pictures of hot women if you want to, man, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You will not hear me complain.
All right, best supporting actor. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that's really jumping out at me, and I'm looking through. Wait, hold on a second. Meryl Streep, she's a supporting actress, right? And Into the Woods. I think if Meryl Streep, if she's supporting, which I think she is, we completely forgot about her. She's going to be in the race.
Good reason.
She's going to be in it. Well, okay. I'm telling you, man, they already are giving her a ticket to
Of
Oscar
course
night.
they are, because it's Meryl Streep.
She goes
Of
to the
course.
Oscars
It
every
doesn't matter
year.
what she does.
All right,
If
so
she could do a movie of herself sitting on the toilet, they would give her a nomination for something.
I just wanted to give her some props.
They would give
for
it to
Into
her.
the Woods,
They
man.
would give it to her. And you know what? And I don't necessarily think this role is all that great, just like I don't think the movie's all that great. But let me ask you about Into
Go
the
for
Woods. You know, we can't really review
We can't review it,
We can't
man.
review it. But
And plus, the studio don't want to know our opinion on if we thought it was good or not.
I know, but what did you think of the music in it? That's the only question I'm going to ask you.
I think the music. There's one song in particular. I think it's "Into the Woods" when they're preparing to go into the woods. I think that's probably the best song in the entire film. But as you've heard me say before, when we're talking about musicals, the way you judge them,
Right.
does it have a memorable songbook? Into the Woods songbook to me is not memorable.
Me neither.
But what I like about Into the Woods is that this way that they kind of stitch all these different grim fairy tales into one story.
That is very clever.
I like.
That is very clever.
That I like a lot.
That is
Is
very
the music
clever.
great though? No, not necessarily. But I think the execution of the story, for me, minus one major character who has a small cameo that didn't need to be in the movie. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, but it's not really a cameo. But I get what you're saying.
But his character, I thought they could have cast somebody else. You didn't necessarily need him.
Yeah.
To be. In the
I think
movie.
his part, I believe, is a little bit bigger in the actual stage play. But,
Oh, is it really?
I think so.
And they just cut it down.
I think
Okay.
so. But there's a lot of things they changed from the stage play, according to some of the things I've been reading. I got a question for you about
Well, go ahead.
about an off-brand supporting actress choice that just popped in my head
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people have actually been talking about lately. Emily Blunt for Edge of Tomorrow. A lot of people have been talking about her lately for that. I love her in that movie too. I don't necessarily think she's going to get anything for it, but a lot of people are talking about her as, you know what, don't forget this role in Edge of Tomorrow which, as much as I like that movie, it is sort of forgettable, and that's kind of the fault of the title, because the title is so forgettable.
Well, here's what I would say to that. I have you and I talk about this all the time, and at the end of every year, people
Right.
always come up and go, well, I don't really understand this whole awards thing. Iron Man made
Me neither.
$800 million, and how come Iron Man's not nominated for a major award? And I tell people all the time, and this is just my theory, so this is not anything I read or anything I studied, but it's just doing this for 20 years. Movies, for me, fall into two different buckets. You have movies that are made for financial consideration, and you have movies that are made for serious artistic or awards consideration. And The Edge of Tomorrow, or what is it called? Edge of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow feels like a movie that's made.
Or if you bought the Blu-ray, it's now Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, that's stupid. But anyway, that movie to me feels like a movie that's more of a commercial film, and you're trying to get an actress who gave a solid performance in a commercial film to get it artistic merit or give it artistic validation. I just don't see that happening. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I love Emily Blunt, and you've heard me say that she could have my baby at
she's your baby
any
mama.
point. That's my baby
So
mama.
you must have loved Into the Woods, which is all about her trying to get pregnant.
Into the woods. Na, 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 na. Yeah.
But no,
Look,
but-
Travis. Yeah.
No, look, yeah, Emily Blunt.
Hey, man. see, Mike Phillips don't really understand right now. Emily
yeah,
Blunt.
watch out, man. You know,
Matter of fact,
you ain't
know
gotta.
what?
You ain't
know
gotta
what I
be
hope, Travis?
You ain't got to be sitting next to him right now when you show another picture of her, man. I'm
Watch this.
afraid of what he might
you wanna,
do.
You want to hear something really funny? Travis, listen to this for a second. Let's say we really push Into the Woods, right?
Right.
For BFCA. Then we
Okay.
go to the show. Emily Blunt is there with her husband. I'm gonna have to roll up and be like, Travis, block him out for a second. I gotta holler at Emily Blunt. I mean, these are scenarios that really can go down.
You're right.
Which is the other reason why, our friend Wilson Morales and I, I'm sure you've been having conversations with him. He and I had a
Yes.
long conversation about the Broadcast Film Critic Association Awards and,
Right.
how giving us the lay of the land and the terrain. You in a room full of A-list celebrities. You have to sit there and just kind of stay in your place. And then as soon as they go to commercial break, Oprah, what's up? So, Emily Blunt, let's say hypothetically she gets nominated.
And she's married to John Krasinski, right?
Doesn't really matter.
No.
Yes,
I'm just saying that because he can't hurt me. So I can.
Wait, hold on a second. Mike Phillips, put that Emily Blunt picture up again. Oh, you got a
he's
better
got- he
one. All
got
right,
an
hold on a
even
second.
better
Watch
one.
this. Watch this. All right. Now, Mike Phillips has
Yeah.
not seen Top 5 yet, where Rosario Dawson, who he put a picture up earlier, I described her as delightful and delectable.
It's very nice.
My God. Oh,
Mike Phillips, did you see?
please have.
Mike Phillips, did you see Rosario Dawson in Trance?
Oh.
You need to see Trance. All right, you need to see Trance.
right.
Let's move on.
Travis,
Let's move on because
you
I
wanna
got
move on,
I got
man?
a
Go
couple
ahead.
I got a couple
wanted to see that
couple
scene
things
from
yeah. A couple things I wanted
Were we in the theater together when that happened? Oh, that's right. We saw that at the
It
Motion
was
Picture
It
Association.
was a daytime screening.
And I was sitting in the back because I was like,
I was sitting next to our friend Leslie, who came in here to that one show. There are a couple of best actor, best actress ideas that I've had lately.
All right, go ahead, I'm listening.
I want to run past you.
Go ahead.
Jenny Slate for Obvious Child.
I think she's worthy, but again, people don't understand at home that you have to mount a campaign, and the campaign's cost
There'll be no
millions of
campaign.
dollars.
There'll be no campaign.
There's no campaign, so she has no chance. But is she worthy? Yes.
Yes.
It's an extraordinary film and an extraordinary performance, but it's not the kind of film that just on word of mouth is just going to get that kind of buzz. It's just not going to happen.
Keira Knightley for Begin Again.
Oh, I love that movie, man.
I know.
That
That's
song.
what- I'm trying to
that
th-
song.
I'm trying to throw
I'm
a-
voting for top song of
Oh,
the year.
it's my
Lost Stars.
It's my favorite soundtrack. So
Oh, my
I'm just
God,
saying
man.
that.
That's a great soundtrack.
But I'm trying to throw some hard ones at you.
But
what do you think about her?
but again, and I'm not trying to throw water on the fire. I'm just being a realist that Will the studio that did Begin Again, I forget which studio it is, because they didn't even send us a screener. They sent us the music, but not the
Summer
actual
movie. I wouldn't expect it.
Okay, so yeah, but you're right. I think that's a great performance, and I'm not even a Keira Knightley fan. You've heard me say that before.
Absolutely.
But I loved her in that movie, man. Oh, why didn't you ask me about that one?
Which one?
Keep scrolling. One more scroll up, right there.
Well, I'm not.
Gugu Mbatha Raw.
Google
for
about
Belle.
the Raw for Belle. I know you think she's worthy in that film, and I think she's good. She's good in it too.
Did she just get a Spirit Award nomination for it?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Which,
Again, I
the
think they
Spirit
released
Awards,
it too early, and I think that the studio is not going to run a campaign, and it also doesn't.
I think it's going to be overshadowed by Beyond the Lights. If there's going to be any, there's not.
Nah,
gonna,
see, but I think Belle is the better movie. Well, not better movie, the better performance.
I think she's better in Belle also. But
Right.
But I think if there's going to be any sort of campaign for Gugu Mbatha Raw specifically, it would end up being for Beyond the Lights, just because it's so fresh in people's minds.
Right.
That's the only reason why I say that. I don't think either one of them is going to get her any love, really.
And that's sad too, man.
But did you happen to see you were there at Sundance for Kumiko the Treasure Hunter?
I did.
And that got Rinko Kikuchi a Golden Globe nomination. Not Golden Globe, but Indie Spirit Award nomination.
You saw it, right?
Yeah. And I liked it.
I thought it was a strange movie. Man.
It is strange, but that's one of the reasons why I liked it. Kumiko the Treasure Hunter, which nobody saw, which is why I was so shocked when it got an Indie Spirit nomination for her.
You talking about this year?
Yes.
Wow.
It got her. She's been nominated for an Indie Spirit Award for
amazing.
Best Actress. Which when I saw it, I was like, "Damn, really?" It's a great film. It's kind of quirky and offbeat, and it's about. Well, I mean, it is. It's about a Japanese woman who's like obsessed with the Coen Brothers movie Fargo. You know, she thinks that the money that gets hidden under the fence in the snow, she thinks it's real, and she sets out on a trip to Fargo to go and find it, and it puts her on this kind of weird sort of adventure. I call it, kind of a Don Quixote-esque adventure, where she runs into all these sort of quirky characters and things like that. I liked it because it was so offbeat. It's kind of dark too, but it felt like a Coen Brothers movie with kind of a foreign sensibility. It was really strange, but I really dug that. I thought her performance was good too. I just didn't think enough people saw it for it to even rate as any kind of awards nomination. But I was surprised. I'm happy about it. I was just surprised.
I was indifferent. Not saying that I didn't care. I mean, I watched it, and it was a movie that, outside of what you just described, there were a lot of kind of fish out of water elements. But a lot of it, to me, even though it was this strange kind of adventure she goes on, a lot of it just didn't make any sense to me. Like, well, really, you honestly believe that movie, that's real? That you're going to go back to Fargo to try to find the money?
Right. But she's also somebody who was amazingly sheltered, so that's one reason why. But you mentioned Meryl Streep for Into the Woods earlier.
Right.
What makes her performance better than Angelina Jolie's in Maleficent, which are very similar in a lot of ways? The roles. What's better? Because to me, they're interchangeable, except for the singing aspect.
Watch this, and I know you hate. Because, Travis and I remember the one heated argument we ever got in is we were at a January screening for Broken City, and I told Travis that
movie to argue about.
Right, that I grade January movies on a curve because they're so god awful, and I gotta find some way to keep it interesting. But I will say the difference. Use that analogy with Maleficent versus Into the Woods. One, you got to look at when a movie gets distributed or released. Maleficent, of course, is like a big summer movie.
Right,
Into the Woods is a big holiday release. But two, Angelina Jolie, although she gave what I call a solid performance, nothing great, is also getting a lot of buzz as a director for Unbroken.
Right.
As well, and Meryl Streep is just a perennial Oscar nominee. I mean, I don't know. Meryl Streep can read the phone book and get an Oscar nomination.
I like Meryl Streep, but
I like her too. But do you think she believes she needs to be nominated
for
all this stuff?
The stuff she gets nominated for makes me not like her. Like, I didn't think she deserved to be nominated for August Osage County, which to me was just 2 hours of shouting. And it's like, really? She gonna get nominated for that? Okay,
no, my favorite. Were you there that night when she
Julie
introduced
and
she came to
I was
Washington
like,
for the Queen?
Yes.
In the movie that I fell asleep watching.
Yeah.
She introduced the movie. I was like, ooh, Merle. But then I watched the movie and I was like,
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was the Iron Lady, and
the Iron Lady, right.
and she
I'm
came,
not saying the Queen,
right?
the Iron Lady,
yeah, that was
right.
Helen Mirren, and she came. She came to introduce it,
Helen Mirren.
and she didn't have shit to say about it. And I was like,
She really did.
I was like, wow, this is not going to be good. I
Hey,
was like,
hope you enjoy it.
I was like, why are you here? I was like, oh well, and I was like, this is not going to be good.
Straight biatches.
Another one I'm going to ask you about.
Go ahead.
Shailene Woodley, The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh my God, man! I'm telling you,
I'm trying to throw hard ones at you, man.
That movie, man. I'm telling you, I dug that movie a lot, and I'm glad you brought that back up because I'm not even sure if I had it on my list of movies that I was rating.
Yeah.
For my best picture, that movie was special. She was really good in that movie. But again, Travis, movies that are released. I mean, you saw what happened last year to movies like Fruitvale Station.
Oh,
what else
absolutely.
happened last year? I mean, movies that get
Absolutely.
released early. We talked about Belle being released in May. You kill a movie
Right.
when you release it that early. Now, there are some cases where
Very rare.
where movies get recognized. You know, studios are smart and they throw some money behind them. They re-release them. They do something creative. But The Fault in Our Stars, which they did send us a screener, and
Yes,
I'm going to watch it again.
So it goes to show there's
my
going
God.
to be some sort of campaign for
That
this
is such a good movie.
if they're bothering to send that to us. But when I was thinking about it, and when it reminded me when I was looking at it here, and I was like, Shailene Woodley to me in that film is about as good as an actress can be in that kind of role. I think she's fantastic.
She had a great year, too.
She had a fantastic.
I mean,
year.
White Bird and the Blizzard, man, which we
White
saw
Bird
at,
and the Blizzard,
at Sundance. Wow.
Divergent, this.
I forgot about Divergent.
Yeah, well,
Did that actually come out? Was that a movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
she did come out. But yeah, she's fantastic. And I think her and the same goes for Ansel Elgort. I don't know how they're going to rate him. They rate him as lead actor, I guess so.
Yeah, and he does. He has no shot.
He doesn't, and that's unfortunate because I think he's amazing in that role too.
I agree.
In fact, I said before when that movie came out, I actually thought he was better than her because his role was more difficult. But they're both so good that I feel bad that I feel like I need to give them that personal attention.
Just throw a vote away, huh?
It's not a vote. I'm not talking about movies that we think are going to get nominated.
Oh, okay. You're talking about giving them that attention right here.
Because you and I both know. Right. We'll talk about that in a second. You and I both know that a movie that we think is great that comes out earlier in the year is not going to get nominated just because of politics, timing, whatever. But in terms of what we personally think are worthy, that's a different story. You know what I mean?
I do. I'm listening to you, but
Go ahead
they
and
just
bring up Reese Witherspoon.
No. They just
because-
the news just came across the wire about the very first screening of Unbroken, and I was just trying to get a sense on if the buzz matches up. Because one conversation we need to have, and we can probably have it in the weeks to come, is that to me the most competitive race this year is going to be for Best Director, and it's going to be competitive because Hollywood, as a rule, has only had one woman ever win Best Director, which was Catherine Bigelow several years ago for The Hurt Locker. And this year you have two ladies, Ava DuVernay for Selma, which you and I both seen, and she's worthy. I mean, that's my friend, but she's worthy.
She's worthy.
And Angelina Jolie for Unbroken, which means that the combination of The Theory of Everything, the director of that film, and The Imitation Game, only one of those guys is going to get in. Because Richard Linklater for Boyhood almost is as a lock.
He's in.
Now,
Richard Linklater.
what happens with Christopher Nolan for Interstellar?
He's not in.
Again, I don't know. I mean, because they feel bad that they didn't give him any love for the Dark Knight.
They don't give a shit
trilogy
about that.
back in the day.
They don't give a shit about that.
Man, you are being extremely naive if you don't think.
I don't
think like people's personalities play into this race.
No, I didn't say that. I'm talking about in this specific instance. I don't think they give a shit that they did not give him a Best Director award for the Dark Knight movies. I don't think they care about that. I really don't. I don't think they care.
No, I'm sorry. I was just reading that, man. Wow. They said the review basically said the film is a surefire Best Picture nominee with Jolie likely to break into the director's race.
Right. Okay. So, and if we're talking about Unbroken, and we only got how much time we got? Like 10 minutes. Yeah. Wow. So look how fast time flew. Time flew by. Damn. 10 minutes left. We're talking about Unbroken. Unbroken is the World War II film drama directed by Angelina Jolie, starring Jack O'Connell. Now, if you don't know the name Jack O'Connell, you're going to know the name Jack O'Connell in just a few weeks when Unbroken comes out. But those of us who've been paying attention to him for a while know that he's had an incredible year. I think he's had the best year of any actor you've never heard of.
And you know what others interesting about him?
He was in Starred Up, which is a prison movie that came out earlier this year that is tremendous. If you've never seen Starred Up, go look it up. He's in a movie called 71.
Saw that at Middleburg. Very good.
Which is really good too. Both of them are all about him, and he is a commanding actor.
Where did this guy come from?
He just came out of nowhere, man.
Damn, I saw 71. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Did you see Starred Up?
No.
You have to watch it.
Okay.
You have to watch it because it's going to end up on one of your lists, I think, if you watch it. It is incredible. And then Unbroken, there's three roles that basically have him charting on everybody's list. He's a fantastic actor. You're going to have to look out for him.
Okay, but Travis, again, best director race as of now. We haven't seen Unbroken, man.
What about David Fincher for Gone Girl?
And I was getting ready to get to that. So you got Fincher. Is his name pronounced Alejandro Aratu for Birdman?
Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu.
Oh my God! Then you got the lock of what's the name? Richard Linklater, as you just heard us say, for Boyhood. You got Selma, Ava DuVernay, Unbroken, Angelina Jolie. Man, that race, boy, is going. And you know what's going to be really interesting?
And we're not even talking about Clint Eastwood for American Sniper,
which is actually good.
It's a decent.
But
movie,
I don't think it cracks the list of films that I'm talking about.
Right, but in terms of people that.
And I forgot the Theory of Everything and Imitation Game.
And the Imitation Game. But in terms of people that the Academy likes, Clint Eastwood's one of them, and he's one of those guys that he may get some preferential treatment because of that.
Wow.
What about Tony Gilroy or Dan Gilroy for Nightcrawler? I mean, Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher. That movie was supposed to be nominated last year, but since it got pushed back to this year, does it still maintain its grip? I mean, is it one of those movies that gets in there? Man. It's gonna get in there for something, whether it's acting or directing. It's gonna get in there.
Well, the Telltale. Or the bell, what is it? The
Bellwether.
Thank you. Is going to be starting this week, and I think tomorrow. The first is it? What's the group that always announces first? The National Board of Review.
Right.
The National Board of Review winners should be coming out either tomorrow or Tuesday. Followed closely by the New York Film Critics Circle. We release the Monday after that, so a week from tomorrow. Our awards come out, and then you'll start to get a sense, Travis, because the race for me is always in two parts. You have the early front runners that jump out, and those front runners ride the way to the Golden Globes. And then shortly after the Golden Globes, the Academy Awards are announced. And then there's always this underdog film that kind of laid in the cut. Like last year, for an example, remember the movies that everybody focused on were The Wolf of Wall Street, American Hustle. Those were the big films that were coming out the gate. Everybody was like, oh, man, it's going to be one of these movies. And 12 Years a Slave just kind of sat there and waited its turn patiently and built up support throughout the Critics Association, got Golden Globe nominations, and then the Oscars. Folks were shocked when it kind of jumped up. I think something similar to that is going to happen this year. And I love Selma a lot. I love Birdman a lot. I just don't want to see these movies, Travis, become the movies that dominate the conversation in December and then kind of fall to the wayside in January. It feels to me like Unbroken is going to be the movie, since it's like the last one that everybody sees. It's going to be the movie that leads the pack early, but I don't think it'll sustain that momentum throughout the entire award season.
It's hard to say until we actually see it. Man. I mean, because you got to remember, Wolf of Wall Street was like the dead last thing we saw.
And it was the thing that got nominated all over the place.
It got nominated all over the place, but then it didn't win anything hardly. It didn't really do that much.
My point.
So, I mean, no, you got a point. I think a movie like Selma does benefit from coming out later. I think it's going to do well. A movie like that has greater resonance than a movie like The Wolf of Wall Street does, because, frankly, The Wolf of Wall Street was polarizing. A lot of people liked it.
Right.
Those who really didn't like it. So a movie like Selma is a lot like 12 Years a Slave, which is going to have impact, and people are going to think about it for a long time.
But Unbroken sounds like that kind of a movie as well.
It could be. But I also feel like Unbroken is also a crowd pleaser, an uplifting film, more so than it is a dark and heavy film. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the way Selma is too, because yes, there are obviously really stuff that's really hard to watch, but in the end, it is the kind of movie that makes you leave feeling better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those movies tend to have really
Unlike
lasting
Bennett Miller's
impact for people.
Foxcatcher.
Unlike Foxcatcher, which just lays there and dies. But and as much as I love 12 Years a Slave, it's not the kind of movie that makes you leave feeling better. You feel like depressed.
I agree
afterwards.
with you, and it's not the type of movie you can watch over and over. I could
Right.
see Selma several more times.
I can watch Selma right now and be perfectly
Right.
fine. So I have a feeling that's going to work in Selma's favor. I have a feeling that will work in Unbroken's favor too.
But let me ask you quickly about Gone Girl, because Gone Girl, which was released in early October, and they've sent the screeners out. Do you think Gone Girl, that enough critics in the critics groups across the country are going to remember Gone Girl as a part of its top 5, or does it get forgotten among a lot of the later releases in mid-November
I think
or
the only
December?
thing people are going to remember is Rosamund Pike, unfortunately.
Wow. Not even screenplay?
Screenplay maybe, but I think that in terms of acting categories, you're looking at her. I think David Fincher will find his way getting elbowed out of the conversation just because there's too many other movies, too many movies that are bigger in stature, in a way, bigger in prestige than Gone Girl. I think he'll get edged out of the conversation. But Rosamund Pike, she's great. She's going to get remembered. She's going to get nominated.
We got a couple of minutes, man. What about Reese Witherspoon in Wild?
She's going to get nominated for Best Actress, I think.
What about the picture?
Nope. The movie won't. Too many mixed reviews on it. I think it's a good movie, not a fantastic movie. I know you like it a lot. I like it a lot too, but not as much as you. But her performance is better.
American Sniper?
I'm
You wasn't a big fan?
I'm not a huge fan of that movie. It's okay. It's another one that, to me, kind of just told the story and then went away.
Now, we talked earlier, I think...
But the bigger question is Bradley Cooper. Do you think Bradley Cooper gets nominated for Best Actor?
That's tough, man, because you got Eddie Redmayne. Who else? Eddie Redmayne, Michael Keaton, David Oyelowo.
I want Brendan Gleeson for Calvary, but he's not going to get nominated.
For the same reason we talked about earlier, man.
What about that guy?
Man, really, we got a couple of minutes and you want to waste time on that?
I want to end it on Andre 3000 as Jimi
We
Hendrix.
do not want to end on that,
What about
man.
that guy?
No, I was going to ask you about Ida, man. What do you think about Ida?
I almost fell asleep at one point. I'm not gonna lie, but
you are a cold
But
dude.
I woke up and it's a powerful film. Whoever the lead actress is, I don't know her name. She's great. I think the woman who played her aunt is actually even better.
So I'm thinking that's going to be one of the top 5, man, for me.
Okay.
In that foreign category.
All right, Mike is giving us the signal to get the hell out of here.
All right, man. We got a busy week coming up.
Look how
man.
fast that hour went.
That hour went really fast, but we have a busy week, man. You going home to watch football? I'm going to watch some more movies.
I might watch The Walking Dead and then start watching movies again too. So we got nothing to review this next week because we've seen everything. But next week we will talk Wild with Reese Witherspoon.
Really?
That's what we're going to talk. Yep, we're going to talk that next week.
I think we should tease the people because we can't really tell you in advance because the president of WAFCA has forbidden us from leaking the the results.
Do you know the results already? Do you know?
No, I don't know the results. We haven't voted yet.
You know
fool.
that's why I was asking.
But a week from now, watch this. But a week from now, I will.
I was about to say,
Look.
damn. There is some cheating shit going on here.
No. Bro, I will know the results because the voting will be finished, fool.
All right. Well, we are out of here. I'm Travis Hopson. That's Tim Gordon. This is Addicted to Film. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We're out of here. We'll see you guys next week.